Yes, crazy how fast the tech scene can change. Where I was close to naming this phone the best camera on a folding phone, with that little bit of a shrug towards the compromises that we find on foldable cameras, the Pixel Fold was recently displaced by another phone we'll be talking about soon. Getting down to brass tacks, the Fold is a practical, capable camera system. It looks like a Pixel, it shoots like a Pixel, and where we see some significant compromises, I think Google does a fine job of covering the bulk of situations people might want to use a point-and-shoot style camera. The recent holiday sales have made the idea of owning a little mini folding tablet a bit more attractive, but it's also a challenge to look at the most expensive phone that Google sells and acknowledge the age of the SoC and see camera sensors that are starting to be outperformed by the Pixel A series. It's kinda tough to frame. I like Pixels. I heartily recommend them as the top point-and-shoot solutions. The compromises here are noticed more when pushing the sensors a little harder in challenging conditions. Is a similar philosophical issue we face with Samsung. If it's the most expensive, which consumers will be annoyed by it not also being the best? And that's where conversely we look at OnePlus, the OnePlus ecosystem. The Open is the best of everything OnePlus can currently offer. It's up to each consumer to define their own unique deal breakers, but there is also one really annoying trend in marketing a spec sheet that I find frustrating and borderline misrepresents the performance of the phone. We'll get to that. Starting with the hardware, these are all good, okay sensors. The main shooter is obviously the largest, boasting those 48 megapixels, but over a half-inch type surface area. To put that in perspective, that's the sensor size we had on the OnePlus 7 Pro, and it might be the same sensor we see being used on the ultra-wide for the Pixel 8 Pro. Pixel 8 Pro camera review coming soon. The sensor here certainly outperforms the sensor on the OnePlus 7 Pro, but it's also smaller than the sensor on the Pixel 7a. Likewise, the companion sensors are 1/3 inch type on the ultra-wide and 1/3.1 inch type on the telephoto, both listed as 10.8 megapixel sensors by Google. Remember those numbers? We're gonna chat about that in a bit. There are a couple teeny little sensors though. Thankfully, the telephoto is slightly larger than what we would find in the telephotos on the S23 Ultra and the S23 and S23 Plus, though real-world performance would be difficult to discern between those phones, between Google and Samsung. It's just nowhere near as impressive as the larger telephoto we see on the 8 Pro, on Xiaomi's Ultras, or on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. But the hardware is rarely the big hook when we talk Pixel. This is a heavy software processing platform, so the real verdict comes after looking at a few sample photos. And I'm not trying to slight the Fold, but I just didn't want to use it for legit family events and memories. Even while I was still leaning on a Pixel 7 Pro, if I had access to any other premium tier phone, I probably liked those cameras better. Or at least I trusted them a little more. I got a handful of just killer images out of the Fold, but I kept walking away from even those shots, wondering if they might have been nicer if I'd used a different phone. Or even another Pixel. It still has this fun Google flavor to the output, and it's super familiar for folks coming from other Google phones. Buying an older Pixel 7 Pro, you would get better performance and better camera sensors. So I'd actually like to leave this video, this review, a bit more open-ended. In guiding the future of my camera videos, what do we think is fair? We can't just compare on price when we look at slate phones versus foldable phones, but now we're getting foldable phones that take their cameras a bit more seriously. I'm genuinely a little stuck on what we would recommend as a single compute platform daily driver workhorse device. And it's even complicated just within Google's own stable of solutions. I really like the cameras on phones like the Pixel 6a, and the Fold is a little better than the Pixel 6a, but it's also so much more expensive. See, and that's the problem. You just kind of go spiraling down that price to performance expectation. What say you? Please drop some comments down below. How do we rank and compare different devices built for different audiences at significantly different price points? I heartily await your input. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate all the support. Anyone here on this Patreon, you are directly contributing to these conversations, and I especially appreciate the folks who are sharing the Patreon posts. Trying to bring more cool geeks to this little community. We don't want the lame geeks. We just want the fun geeks here. If you find them, tell them about this place and we can hang out. It'll be fun. I'll catch you all on the next review, which will probably be this phone right here.